one of the topics that we all wanted to like talk about, and like, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody has an opinion about is dating, right? And modern day dating. How many single people do we have in the room with us today? Like, raise your hands.
Single.
Damn, all y'all.
It's hard out
What you consider to be single?
It's just me and Simeon and shit. We the two married niggas. It's just like, oh, okay. So yeah, so today we're gonna talk about modern day dating. You know what I mean? I'm afraid to ask this a question, especially with Akila over there.
Don't single her out.
Don't
She like the controversy.
Don't do that.
Don't
Don't do that.
I'm new. Is she the controversy?
Oh, you'll see. But what should dating look like? Or what does dating look like to you guys in your current, you know, positions in life? And if it's not what you want it to look like, what should it look like, or what do you expect it to look like?
You can tell that question was asked by a married man.
Thank you.
Oh.
Let her know.
Why she hit you like that?
She did.
So,
This is how
what
we
should
do it.
dating look like? That's some shit you ask your daughter. What do you think
Right.
she thinks?
Before we start, I commend you all as young African American men to be married in such a time where it's not common.
I think men want to be.
It's not accepted.
Mhm.
I
think
commend
men
you.
want to be more married than women in today's society.
I don't know if I agree with that one.
I was about to say, I don't
Yeah, I don't
really
think I
agree with
agree
that. I don't think it's
either.
that they want to be more married than women.
Simeon's laughing.
He can't hold it.
He might as well be on camera because his opinion is all
You
over.
gonna let everybody speak. I'm trying to get this cold.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
silly.
Go ahead.
Dang, y'all made me lose my train of thought. Come back to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Kayla,
I know.
because you were saying something. What were you saying, boo?
That I commend them?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So pretty much everybody.
That was what I had to
on
offer.
It. Got you.
You know?
Got you.
I think let's talk about dating in a climate where there's dating apps and websites and where social media and technology
So much to
are
do.
really the driving force behind it. How has that impacted dating in our current age demographic and
Who uses Tinder in here? Who uses
I had
like
it for a brief
the
stint.
DMs?
Yeah, I
like,
used it for a hot little minute.
Yeah.
back to the question, what does dating life look
Thank you.
like?
Hold on, I want to know. Like, okay, so you used Tinder before?
Yeah.
Have you used it before?
No, I haven't used Tinder, but I do feel
Not,
like the
not
difference.
Tinder, but I got on a dating app.
Yeah, thank you.
What about like
Yep.
the
And
DMs?
I
Like, have you all
scrolled
ever like
people
hooked up with
on
somebody who hit you up in the DMs? And then when I say hooked up, I don't mean like y'all like
Had
smashed.
sex with him?
I mean like y'all may have like went out on a date.
Yeah, the DMs have actually been better to me than Tinder.
I feel like the DMs allow you to choose who you want anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick who I want through my DMs. Like,
Tinder don't allow
you
you
cute
to pick
too. I'm interested.
I feel like one of my longest, most stable interactions with a guy was some DM type
Awesome.
ish, and we ended
So
up like
you said I should respond to
It
this
goes
guy
down
that
in
hit
the
me up
DMs.
the other day?
I will say respond, but
you
be
think it'll
careful how
work
you
out?
respond, or be careful with your interactions, because you can run into anything. That's still the thing.
True.
So I've had some great responses, but then I've had some that I'm like, bruh, what's wrong with you?
Bruh, you are. You are.
So is it safe to say that this side is like it's okay, right? You're not high and mighty when it comes down to like meeting people online. And
If
you
you're
all
not
are
okay, you
a
high and
little-
mighty towards it?
Woo!
Ain't nothing, I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. I'm just
do
saying.
the old-fashioned thing.
Exactly, like it's
because
a little
online
weird.
is scary. Like people are crazy these days, and I just don't feel
They
comfortable.
be crazy in an old fashioned way too.
I feel like you can feel
This
them
is
out
true.
more when you're like face to face with somebody than like if you talking to them like on a computer. Because
But I
Well,
feel like if
can't
I'm
say
looking for
anything,
something
you know
more
what I'm saying?
casual,
There's
I don't
some
know.
there's some functioning crazy people walking around. You don't
man.
realize
I mean,
till
that's
it's too
fair.
late.
Yes, Lord.
go ahead.
I've never online dated, so I don't have an opinion about it. But I wouldn't be the first to jump towards it because I've had people hit me up in my DMs and I ignore it if I don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my honest opinion. My parents are from down south, so I have a different take on certain things like that. It's a little bit slower pace. I would rather meet you face to face and like have had that interaction face to face before I communicate with you online.
I feel like it's easier to ignore you online if I don't like you than
Yeah.
it is face to face.
It is.
That's true.
True.
And that's why I think I like it. Because not all of y'all I want to respond to. So, you'll catch the kind ghost hint. I just ghosted your ass.
Let me
Just
tell
stay
y'all
right
my strange situation. I had been semi-communicating with a person online, and now he's my upstairs neighbor.
Whoa!
there. Wow. Wow.
So how
Because
many
we have
late
a-
nights has he like
Because
knocked on
he
your
have
door in
a
that
mutual
room?
friend.
Hey, John.
How many with nothing
Was
on
that
up under
was
that?
that the one that was the long interaction?
No.
Yeah, you better hit him with that ring.
That's a long interaction. A lease is long.
It's funny because we have a mutual friend.
Mm-hmm.
So with us having a mutual friend, that's how I even ended up like
Online or
following
in
him.
general?
In general.
Okay.
So my landlord is one of my best friends. I call her sister. And she's really cool with him. So before ever meeting him, she had like showed me a picture of him and stuff. We ended up following each other online. So you be online, you'll see different stuff, it'll be funny. You'll comment. So we'll end up having conversations back and forth online. And now he's my
Y'all
upstairs
was
neighbor.
comment flirting.
So
Online we really wasn't flirting.
I've
Are you
grown
all
up with
flirting
people on
in
social
person?
media, but never had.
That's another show, John.
so he has come over in the room.
Hey,
Right,
hey, you
right,
have
right,
so
right.
many questions.
Roll. No.
He
wear that
Oh,
male
gray
lingerie.
sweatpants.
See the camera don't got the angle I got. Y'all should have seen the way Gina just bit her cup. Y'all should have seen the
And
way
now I know
she was
not
thinking
to show
about
him this
That's
episode.
crazy.
Oh my
Real, you
goodness.
gotta come on in them gray sweatpants. Let it hang.
Yes,
let it swing.
That
Okay.
male lingerie.
Oh my God.
And oh, does it swing?
Oh, doesn't swing.
The upstairs
Um,
neighbor.
So like,
Do you guys feel like the apps or like just apps and websites have changed the culture, and what are the pros and cons of this modern day technologically influenced dating life?
Just off the top of my head, like based on what she said, the good thing is it definitely makes it easier to ignore people that you're not interested in. I think there is the downside to it. People like me that are more like, I'm better face to face. So like if you're not good at like texting and like, it's a different experience from meeting and talking to somebody in person versus via text message. I feel like that's definitely a downfall of that, especially because a lot of like in general with texting anyway, a lot of meaning gets lost in translation. It's really easy to like misinterpret a text versus if you're talking in conversation and you hear the tone and the context and everything of the conversation, you get a clearer meaning of what they're saying.
I think it's oversaturation to it. Like, it makes you this instant gratification person. So if you're not responding fast enough to me, well, I'm just finna DM this other nigga. Don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's this oversaturation. So I ignore you, and you could be a dope ass fucking person, but I'm no longer paying attention to you because I didn't get the attention that I wanted in the time that I expected it.
studies show that like most people meet their mates in like controlled environments like work or at school and stuff like that, is or can like social media be added to that list as like a controlled environment where people can kind of like start to like see each other on a recurring basis, right? And then begin to develop a relationship with each other.
I feel like, well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I would say I feel like no, just because social media in essence is just like people's highlight reel in most cases. You only get shown or presented with the things that people want you to see, which is all the successes and everything like that, versus like, you meet somebody in person, there's a lot more to it. Like you get to see if they clumsy or if they nervous, like they twiddle their thumb, like all those all those little things that you don't get online.
Not only that, I feel like when you first meet somebody, you're trying to give them the best, and sometimes you're putting on like a little bit of a show and you're hiding those imperfections. And when it's via social media, that's the even greater chance for you to hide even more imperfections. So I just feel like when it's social media and online, you can hide more, and it's more of a disguise opposed to when you're meeting somebody in person.
I think income is more so, to me, income is more so a better, valid way of meeting people. Like I feel more comfortable meeting people when I'm in an income that I'm securing. You know what I'm saying? Like I can be myself. Exactly.
Like
you feel what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I feel like when I'm at an income where I may not be satisfied, but I am stable, I feel like I meet people and I can be myself because they're more accepting of, like you said, like clumsy or not together, or just mentally confused or whatever is going on in your lifestyle. Like I feel like when your income is more stable, people are more so likely to be more genuine about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Is
like
that true? Because then like what about like super rich dudes who get women, who have like women, or super rich women who have like men who literally are only in it for the money?
Well, that's the thing. Like when you're at a stable income, to me, I feel like common sense will let you know if a person is really there for your money, or is a person there because they really respect what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I may not have what you have at the table, but I do have something to offer to the table.
Right.
Like I feel like I get more of a genuine aspect of a person when I'm like financially stable, whereas when I'm struggling or when I'm so high up, I can't really see things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I feel like common sense is only common if you commonly use it. That's
What's
why it's called
common? But what's common?
But it might not be
What's
common
common to you may not be common
That's
to
what I'm
others.
saying. So a common, I
Hold
could
on,
be
wait,
this
wait.
super
So,
smart person
go
that
ahead.
has been a nerd all my life, and I haven't commonly interacted with other people on the level of building a relationship. And now I'm here, and I feel like I'm ready. And you are using me because I'm not used to these signs. It's not common sense to me.
But that's not common to me because I've been a C average all my life. But
I mean,
$60,000 a year at 25 years old, that's pretty stable to me, especially if you
Yeah.
don't have children or whatnot. And I feel like sometimes, like I said, like when you see people while you're not necessarily to the point where you're satisfied, but you are at a point where you can function, do what you want to do, have things that you want to have, but still invest in the things that you want to have. Like I think like you can see certain people like to me, I feel like people are more genuine because they know that you have something to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I may not have it all.
Genuine, or would
I
you
don't
say more
agree.
open?
More open. That's
I think-
what I would
I
say.
think-
I'll take
that's
genuine
what I
back
say,
and I'll say more
genuine,
open.
I
I'll say
think
more
I
open.
think people are more tolerant
yeah, that's what I was
when
gonna
they
say.
know that you have
They
something
to offer
to
them.
offer them, right?
Yes.
And
But can't you tell the difference if
Not
they're tolerating
I
you
don't.
or
I
if
think.
they're open
I
to
think
you?
you may be able to,
To?
but I think
not everybody can.
historically, I don't know if that's
Okay.
been the case, right? I think
That's
a
fair.
lot of guys, who have money, have fallen for women who they thought they loved, and those women were actually tolerant of them until they got into a better position to like take half their shit. You know what I'm saying? And,
But I think
But see-
that they also got into those relationships because those women filled out what they on paper thought what it looks like to be a successful man married to a person, and so then you think of like the whole notion of trophy wife.
And see, he may think he's successful. Oh,
He may
sorry.
be with this person because this person looks good on his arm. This person looks good for this picture that society has connoisseured for him in terms of what it looks like to be successful and be in a happy relationship. So they're not even thinking when they're getting into that relationship initially of, is there a connection? Does this person, do I vibe with this person just on a basic friendship level? Because they're all about perception. So in that regard, I don't feel sorry for them.
I kind of agree with her too, because sometimes when people make a certain amount and they haven't made that amount on their own for a long period of time or ever, I feel like some, and African American men as well, some people expect to be treated like coming to America, you know, and some women will play that persona with you
whatever you need.
because exactly, you know what I'm saying. But it's like I strongly believe, like my grandmother always say, what you put out is what you receive, you know. So if you're giving that attitude like you're all that in a bag of chips, somebody's gonna eat your chips. You swear you Doritos, somebody's gonna go eat them chips up.
I got a question. Like, how big of a role? Because I hear you're talking about, you feel you should be financially stable.
Absolutely.
Before you get into a relationship.
Absolutely.
Well, what?
How big of a factor is that to you all, and to everyone else?
I believe a
Do
lot
you
of
all
niggas feel
agree?
like they want somebody who they got it out of the mud with.
Niggas are men.
Okay.
Because are we talking about niggas or are we talking about men?
Same thing.
I
would
mean,
say-
you know what I'm saying? It depends. No.
Go ahead, make it
Depending
That's
on
crazy.
where you come from, it's all interchangeable. I'm not referring to a nigga as not being a man or a nigga being less than a man. I'm just talking about in general the male species and a male who I would recognize as being able to raise and build my children with.
Okay.
Because I am a parent. And like I don't play that shit, but you know what I mean. As time goes on, you'll see I'm kind of crazy about my kids. But anyway, I just feel like a lot of dudes who come from the street, they feel like I want a bitch who I got it out the mud with, who was loyal. Loyalty is everything. Loyalty is sometimes even worth more than love.
But if I got it out the mud without you, then you're interchangeable.
Okay.
I've been through the mud. You feel what I'm saying? So
I
it's like,
I mean,
if you feel like you
So-
want somebody that's out of the mud, then okay, the time that I spent in the mud, I was single.
Is that,
Or I was dating
so-
somebody that wasn't worth my time.
Question, is that where like the challenge comes? Like, if you know, me and my wife, we've been together since we were 14 years old. So I mean, if you talk about getting it out the mud, we got it out the mud. We
together.
came together. We grew together. Like, you can come to my house and see pictures of us at prom together. You know what I'm saying? We 30 now, right? So it's like we've been together for over 15 years. And in a situation where I know guys who, they was with their high school sweetheart, they started, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, you young, you 17, you 18, you fucking around, you playing games, you know what I'm saying, you talking to other girls, you know what I'm saying. Hey, quiet as kept, she was talking to other dudes, you know what I mean, and y'all kind of like, you know, grew apart. And then, you know, you get older, you're now 21, 22, and you still out here doing the same thing, but you always kind of like go to her Instagram page every now and then and see what she got going on in life, and you just like, damn, like, I wish I would have been able to just like keep it together and we could have been together and doing our thing. Like, she the only girl who really knew me. And like, I see a lot of that on both sides, like from women and from men, where it's like that person that I was growing with, like, yeah, nothing's perfect. Like, believe you me, like, I know, like, nothing's perfect. But it's about like who can, like, for me, it's like who can you, who knows you, right, at the end of the day, outside of like, oh, who does this for you, and like, oh, you just like are this fucking in my eyes, you are this fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are looking for things in other people that they don't even have in themselves.
Oh yeah.
And it's like one of my rap buddies by the name of Real Talk. He has this poem that he often does called 50-50. And it talks about how, people will go into a relationship trying to make it a 50-50 thing. But he makes this really, really amazing point about how God didn't make no half people. Mm-hmm. You was whole before you know what I'm saying? You was whole before you met this person. You know what I'm saying? How about instead of me giving you 50-50, or we giving each other 50-50, I give you 100 and you give me 100 in return. Mm. You know what I mean? So as far as like me and what I'm trying to practice, as I continue to grow as an adult and as a man and as a human being, I try to be patient, be empathetic, and listen and take responsibility over the power that I do have. Even in the offenses that I did not commit. Because you do have power when people hurt you. So, that's my opinion on that.
I feel that. I feel the whole, like, as a person, like, I preach that all the time. Like, as a person, you don't need another person because you're 100% your whole yourself. Mm-hmm. But, to relate it into income and stuff like that, in order to move further or project in this world that we live in, because this world that we live in, like our dollar says the new world order. Mm-hmm. So our world is wrapped around money. Mm-hmm. And to me, I feel like in order to progress and make as much as you can, or to not be attacked after you make as much as you can, you need a spouse. You need that other 100% to take full charge of 50% of things. You feel me? Like, to me, I tell people all the time, like, if I was to date a man, your income isn't for me. It's for my children. You know what I'm saying? I know we live in a society where black women are being taught things way faster than black men are being taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in that type of world. Like, that's the society. That's the way that society has set up. Hunters and gatherers. I'm a hunter. I expect you to be a gatherer. I expect you to take care of my home. I expect you to take care of my children. I expect you to teach my children. I expect those things. And I expect those things out of a man. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But, like, because society has this warp on certain men's ideal or concept, sometimes a woman in power or a woman making certain type of money is intimidating. So men feel like they have to assert their aggressive energy, their masculine energy, in an aggressive way. Hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I totally agree with you, but at the same time, like, as a woman, it's our job, because we are being taught things, not to be so adherent to what certain men say, because I have friends that are way past me in life, that are 2 degrees up or whatever the case is, and they're adhering to somebody who's never graduated to high school. Mm-hmm.
So before you date someone, like, do you need to know, like, how much they make a year?
That's
not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
I think Kayla's making a very important point, because she's talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but she's talking about this whole societal expectation of, because you have certain genital parts, that then automatically entitles you to this role. But what if the person who has genital parts that are prescribed or ascribed as weaker than or less than is actually more equipped to fill the role that society for generations has said that this certain sex needs to fulfill?
Mm-hmm. There you go. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, because of the way the mass sees us, you know what I'm saying? The mass sees us as, your man has to make this amount. I know that our world is set up. I will never sit next to somebody who makes twice as much as me and does half as what I'm doing.
So are you okay with making more money than your mate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You cool
I
with
think
it?
I think
I
the
see
bigger
you
question
got to
is
do
the
the
man
round
okay
table.
with her making more.
Exactly.
That's
That's
what it comes
that's
down
the
to.
bigger question.
So you cool?
Are you cool with making less than you?
Am I cool with making less? No.
At first, you was on board because you thought I was gonna say what you said.
Right. He
That's
had already started trying to say that.
Are you
I
cool
mean-
with that? You cool with your girl making more than you?
At this stage, I feel like whoever I probably end up with probably will make more than me. Maybe.
But that's an open mind
But
because
I-
the world that
Yeah.
the world that we live in, like I said,
Black women
the
are
dollar
more
bill
intelligent than black
has
men,
the
so
name
that's
on it,
why
the New
it's
World Order.
women's.
You know what I'm saying? The people that have enslaved us were religious slaves at the beginning,
Right.
so they know how to hit us hard. You feel me?
I think.
And-
I
I'm sorry.
don't
and how
Go
they-
ahead.
I was
Hold
gonna
on,
say-
Keela. Go. What you say? What you say? Go ahead, Keela. Talk.
Agree. I make a lot. I'm not gonna say how much I make because whatever. But I make a substantial amount of
What you
money.
make, girl?
I do construction. So we just gonna put that like that.
Oh, she's in the union.
I do construction.
Girl,
put the app in.
I make a substantial amount. I also know though, as a woman, I don't want to do what I have to do and also be pregnant with your child.
Raggy.
That's real.
No. It has nothing to do with feeling like I'm better than. It has everything to do with the scientific fact of toxins, silica, lead, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Just breathing in certain things that I don't want to pass on to our child and alter their DNA in any way, genetically, just period. And I know because I've done the science, like I've read the facts on it, like it's in the medical journal. The thing about it is, any man that I decide I'm going to be with is going to be equally yoked on my intellectual level to the point where you can match me. You're going to match me because mentally you think as I think.
But does that mean income has to match?
Yeah,
Mentally, we
that's
can
not-
match
that's-
each other.
But
that's
you
mentally.
know
not
what?
a correlation.
It is though. Some of the best minds in the fucking world think outside the box, and that's why they make the most money.
There's also
Okay.
there's
All right.
also-
Let's bring it
but-
back. Hold
but-
on. Wait. All right. I think Kayla asked a good question. Does the income have to match?
No, but our intellect does. And I
Okay.
think the intellect
Okay.
will be able to create a source of income. You may have not be able to do it. Like I may have a certain part of it that helps you be like, oh babe, you take this idea and you do this with it. Granted. And that's how the income comes. But I do feel as if if we meet on an intellectual level, I can do wonders with your motherfucking ideas. You just don't realize the brain you have.
You'll fund that nigga. You
but
got
he-
nigga. I got a job.
He said, I fund that nigga, and that was a rerun. Hold
But
on.
technically,
hold on.
you're still saying that the income matters.
She like wait time.
Technically, you're still saying that the income matters.
I'm going to say the income matters because if I begin to fund a certain type of lifestyle and I become pregnant with our child, I can also not keep funding that type of lifestyle. I need you to be able to take
I wanna
over.
hear- okay.
But if I write
Hold
the
on,
game
hold on.
plan for it and you can't keep it going, it's a problem.
Okay, hold on. Let's keep it in order. Okay, X, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Gina, you haven't spoken lately. Did you?
She's just saying,
I'm fine right now. Because I like what you just
After
said.
X, Kayla, you gonna go ahead, and then still you have something to say, right?
X, say what you gonna say.
Okay. I feel like she got so.
Just say what you gonna say.
I want to hear what she got to say first.
You already said that you was tax exempt. And
No,
you
no,
already-
that's on a mortgage, baby. That's on a mortgage.
Exactly.
That doesn't have
I-
anything to do
hold
with
on.
my paycheck. My paycheck pay
Hold on.
taxes.
Hold on, y'all.
But go ahead.
Come on.
Hold on.
I'm waiting.
You say that you're paying into a mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of brothers aren't paying into a mortgage right now. A lot of brothers don't know what it takes to get to a mortgage. So you saying to me that you will meet a man that's to your standards, but because he's not in a mortgage situation, you won't deal with him? Because that's two different incomes.
No. I said if you aren't intellectually on my level.
I understand. I understand
It
that
is
part.
So
completely different.
so pretty much what she's saying is like he doesn't have to be financially there, but if he's intellectually there, right? So if he's stimulating her on a conversation,
a lot of
about-
African Americans
But
don't
that's
know how they're
that's
living.
what I'm saying.
If he's
Your money
mentally
isn't
there,
for me.
intellectually there,
I will pay my mortgage
can
because
get
I
to
want to live a certain
Yeah.
type of
Have a
lifestyle.
lifestyle. No, but that's what I'm
Hold on,
talking
hold
about.
on.
Use
When
your
we
money
get
to pay for my children.
No, the thing about it is when we get to talking about children, we're talking about joint income. That is joint income. I want to be, whether
I don't
I'm
agree.
working or you're working, we should both be able to raise our child at the same
I don't
fucking
agree.
level.
I don't agree.
You don't agree, but you don't
All
have
right,
children.
it's okay.
I don't agree because of the simple fact that like I said, if I was to date someone and I would sit up there and say that my income is for me, like just like they asked the question, who eats first? Like you seen that on Instagram.
Yeah. The man or the kids.
Do you make your child's plate or your man's plate first? I would say my man. You know why? Because if he's really my man, my child's plate is already made. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to think about what's going on with my children. There was a time and point where my stepfather was laid off. My mother worked from 9 to 9. She didn't worry about what happened with the kids because her man was supposed to worry about what happened with the kids. He also was supposed to worry about what happened with the lawn, what happened with the pipes, what happened with the roofing, what happened with the drywall, what happened with all these things. There are hunters and there are gatherers.
I get that.
In the animal kingdom,
I get it.
in the animal kingdom, the lioness hunts. The king of the pride takes care of the pride. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes because we are dated back so far in society, we have to assume those roles. There will be times where your man may be laid off. Okay. There may not be work for a black man, but it may be work for a white man, but there will always be work for a black woman. In the movie 12 Years of Slavery, the very chocolate bald head girl is dancing for the slave owner, right? She's dancing for the slave owner. And his wife comes in and she takes the alcohol bottle and she busts her upside the head with it. And she tells him, you take that black bitch and you get her out here now. And the slave owner, as the owner of a plantation, told his wife, as much as I love you, as much as I care about you, I will not mess up a blessing that the Lord gave us. Talking about this black woman slave.
No,
there will always be room for you in corporate America,
bro. Okay, he was talking about a sex worker, and sex workers still work.
And you don't think your
as I can sell that pussy, you can sell that ass.
And you don't think your sex appeal will get you a job before it'll get him a job? Because he ain't sexy to them, and he ain't either.
You a lie? Do you know how many undercover men there are that are fucking black men?
That's a pride thing.
Breaking a buck.
That is a pride thing.
No,
That's called breaking a buck because that's a pride thing. I fear you because of your muscle. I fear you because of your strength. I don't fear you because of your sex appeal. I fear you because of
that
your
doesn't mean
sex
they.
appeal.
That doesn't mean they let's work the fuck.
Okay, look. So if the man stays at home and the woman is out, you know, bringing home the bacon, how important is sex in that relationship?
You mean if I worked all day and you stayed at home all day?
When you come home, that nigga gotta put it down.
Is there a war me on? I ain't got time. I'm not saying nothing.
Okay, outside of that, that was one of my like weird segues. But anyway, like in dating in general, how important is sex? Gina.
Oh wow.
Thinking about your upstairs neighbor.
Right. Stop. Now I cannot show him this episode.
How important is
How important is sex? For me, it's not super important, but it's important.
That's like saying I ain't thirsty, but I could use a drink.
Wait. Right. And so like on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest.
For me, I feel like if I'm being pleased, like emotionally, spiritually, the sex would be greater and more on point.
Do y'all agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just because if you're more connected to that person, then the sex is going to be amazing the whole time. Because you have that spiritual connection with them. You have that intuitive with them where they know, like, what works for you and you know what works for them and you guys are pleasing one another. It's not just about me getting off. It's about us getting off. You know what I mean?
Sylvia's just like, yeah, Nick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. X, from a male's perspective, what do you think?
I actually agree with that too.
So you gotta, they gotta, mentally get you there.
Yeah,
nigga, soft.
I mean, hey, whatever. Hey, I'm just like I'm choosy. Like I never been that dude. Like
we can always count on you.
X always come
Thank
through
you. He
for-
keep it real.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, I
No,
mean,
we were appreciating that about you, X.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, I was just talking
Because John
shit.
always be
Cause
trying
John
to
always
act
be
super
trying to
hard.
act like, nigga, nigga.
Acting, nigga. Look, let me.
I'm sorry.
Hey, wait.
No, you know what I
And,
think.
Academy Award winner, John.
Oh yeah,
You
the
petty.
John,
Why you
the
so
author.
petty?
The author.
No, I'm just saying, like, I never really been. Not to say I definitely haven't tried it, but like I never really been like that whole like one night stand type person.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't, I mean, just because me personally, like I have to have a certain level of comfortability with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't know you at all I know is your name. Sometimes, depending.
Yeah.
Like then it's like I don't know. It's just shit be happening. Like people be having shit and all kind of like craziness. I gotta have some kind of like I gotta vibe with you in some kind of way in order for me to feel comfortable like having sex
I would
with
say on some lustful one night stand type ish, but it would be just that one night stand. Like for a one night stand, right? If you don't get to know the person, like I can't do that over and over and
So,
over again.
being that like pretty much like
With that same person or from person to person.
I mean, I'm not big on one night stands. I ain't out here just hopscotching.
We know. And if you was, it ain't nobody.
I was
here
gonna
to
say,
bitch.
like,
Just
live
catch
your
your
best
nut.
life.
I'm telling you,
Live
catch
your
your
best
nut. Go
life.
so
home.
let go. You finna say something?
Go ahead.
I want to ask you all
No.
a question. So like being that you all are all single, but you all also like are adults, and I know y'all ass ain't celibate,
Hold on.
regardless of what.
No.
talking-
When you said single, I said in what aspect before I raised my hand. But we was
I mean,
just going like
single,
a
I
single
mean,
word
like,
all
yeah,
together.
no,
You said it
She's
after you
a
raised your
other.
hand. But
yeah,
you
right.
said
She
it.
checks
I
the
did
other
say it though. I was like, hold on.
Hold on.
In what
She checks the
In
other
what
box. She checks
aspect
the
is
other
only
box.
two? You single or you not?
No,
There's
the other
box for
There's
her.
another box.
There's
There's the
other
other.
box.
It's married, single, widowed, other.
Other. Catch
That's
it.
her.
Thank you, boo.
Okay.
See? I got everybody right.
Do you care to share what the other box consists of?
I think the other box
She's like, that's
is
another
anything poly, poly or pan.
So you
What?
Peter or Pan? What the hell?
Is she just Soldier Boy? What?
Tinkerbell.
I think there's poly. Let them know.
Okay, hold up. Let's. What is poly? What is pan?
Oh, so poly is when you believe that you can be in multiple relationships or love multiple people at one time.
Openly.
Waggy.
Okay.
Okay.
And then pan is where you believe
Wait.
that. Hold on.
You love or you're in.
You can be in love with multiple people at one time,
Okay,
and
but it's
everybody knows about it.
Okay.
And everybody knows about it.
Okay. And what is
Pansexual is where you love people's energy, their vibe that they exude, regardless of their sexuality or gender role, or the gender that they're currently assigned to. Or
What does
believe
that have to do with relationships, though?
Okay, so I might be poly, so you all might consider it to be. Poly people don't necessarily consider themselves to be in a relationship because I'm in a relationship with multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, baby. Yes.
She wasn't ready.
So I don't consider myself necessarily. I don't. When I think single, I'm like single and ready to mingle. I mingle all day, but with a nigga at the same time, and he knows that I'm mingling with you and you and you, and he doesn't necessarily need to know the depth of which I'm mingling with you, but he also knows that you're included and you're included and you're included.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask?
And all of you agree that y'all want to be a part of it.
Do they meet each other or?
That is a negative. Like, you know what? It just depends on what makes your primary partner comfortable.
Mm-hmm. So,
So
you
my
have a primary, and then
I do have a primary partner.
Then the other ones are like secondaries.
Secondary, yeah, basically. And it's all in what they feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you feel like you can't handle it, of course, don't join.
Right.
So
But it's-
is the other relationship always a sexual relationship, or is the other
No.
relationship maybe an emotional connection?
It could be an emotional connection. It could just be that I find it easier to talk to you about everything. And my nigga really don't understand. Like, my primary partner really doesn't understand this. Or he gives me the affection that I need, but you give me the mental relaxation that I need. I feel like we all have relationships or whether y'all want to call them relationships or not, friendships are relationships. Mm-hmm. We all have relationships that play a certain role within our lives. It's like you got this one friend and she fun as fuck. You love her when you go out with her. You don't think about shit. And then you got this other friend. She tell you the fucking truth. She make you own up to your shit and you need her too. And it's like you can have those same relationships within your life. Mm-hmm. But there are also your partners that you do have sexual relations with.
Mm-hmm. With these partners, are they always opposite sex?
Not always. Some people that are poly prefer, like some girls that I know that are poly, they like girls and boys. They're bi like that, and that's fine. I don't give a fuck. I don't judge. Mm-hmm. I'm a poly person that is heterosexual, so I like specifically the opposite sex. Mm-hmm. So I have multiple partners that are the opposite sex of me.
Mm-hmm. And they know about each other.
And they do know about each other.
Okay, so how, like, so society will tell you that just like early on, you had people representing societal roles of men and women, societally imposed, American societally imposed roles of men and women, right?
Yeah.
And so American standards and norms will say that men, ego-wise, like, that's just not gonna work. And early on, I was watching an interview with Jadina on the Breakfast Club, where he was talking about how he flows more naturally with a polyamorous setting, but just how that was hard for him to deal with initially with his ego and sexually. Is this man more better endowed than I am, or so like how do you navigate those types of things?
I would say me and my poly relationships, we don't really talk sex wise. Like my poly partners are more into, were you happy? Did you enjoy yourself? They're very more so into whether or not my happiness. And I feel like naturally as a society, that's what we should look at, like our partner's happiness. Were you happy? Are you happy?
I'm pretty sure. I know you didn't start out poly, right? So like,
no.
But prior to that, was relationships more difficult? Do you find being poly easier to manage, or?
I find poly easier to manage, just because I could be in love with you, but I'm still looking at him. Mm-hmm. And that's what I noticed.
What's interesting to me about that is like, it's like that's not like that thought. It's not rare. Like I think that like even me being in a monogamous relationship for like over 10 years, like let's not lie, like that's happening.
But,
I know that on my wife's side, that happens as well. But because I think that like a lot of times when there's like this like Hollywood created this whole perception of what a relationship should look like, and like when you fall in love with someone, what should happen to your mind? Like, oh, this should be the only person that you see beauty in, or this should be the only person that you seek refuge in terms of like bonding with in like conversations. And I think a lot of times, like over the past like centuries, like we've internalized that, right? And we say, yeah, so if you're not doing these things, then you're defaulting on what we have agreed on, and when we decided to be in a relationship together. But I also think that some of the restrictions, right, are necessary, right? The necessary evils. You know what I mean? I think that discipline is extremely important in life. Be it discipline within a relationship, be it discipline within your career, be it discipline with just raising your kids. You know what I mean? Like having discipline is important because you save yourself from having to go through a lot of bullshit. Yeah. So
Do you? I mean, if you're honest, do you really have to go through bullshit? Like, if you're honest, like if you're completely honest with what you want, with what you expect, with how you plan on operating and moving, do you really go through bullshit?
Well,
Like,
I think that in life, you know, for every action there's a reaction. Every cause
I think that's
has
Murphy's law.
Yeah, right. Every cause has an
Murphy's
effect.
laws.
So
Hold on, now you finna make me look it up. I can't even.
Murphy's law is the worst thing that will happen. The worst thing that can't happen will happen.
Yeah. But like every cause has an effect. So you know.
Newton's third law.
Yeah. Okay.
you.
So if you were to, like, you know, discipline is important because, you know, if you're not keeping that in mind as you go about living your life and you just do whatever you want to do, everything that you're doing is an effect, and you don't know. I might not want to like deal with the consequences of that, of whatever I did.
Yeah.
So like some of our emotions we have to keep in check. Some of our feelings and desires,
Exactly.
we have to keep in check.
I think that's more of like a choice that you decide to make.
Exactly.
It depends on like who you are like as a person. Everyone has these choices that they choose to make, and if you choose to be that person where like you want to be with that one only person, but everybody is different. Like she feels like, you know, she can give her love to everybody because she's open to that. You know what I mean? So it's more about the choices that you decide to make. I think that is what it is. It depends on like the person itself.
Okay. I think Kayla wanted to
go
say
ahead,
something.
Kayla.
So we want to let everybody talk. So we'll let Kayla talk. And I think X, you had something to say.
I agree and disagree with you guys at the same time. Like when I think of single, married, relationship, other, I think of a person that you other as in you may be seeing someone on a consistent basis, but you all may not be claiming each other as a relationship to the point whereas other people you may have a conversation with another person or whatever the case is. But I also wholeheartedly believe in, you know, what my grandmother has always taught me, with the energy that you put out is what you receive. You know, so although you're not respecting this person as your mate or telling everybody that this is your mate, what you put out is what you receive. You know what I'm saying? So if you have an ego to the point where you don't want your woman fucking with another guy, you have to put out that energy that you're not going to fuck with another woman, no matter how much. Like discipline, to me, discipline comes from a security factor as well. You feel me? I've always thought that I was attractive. You know, I've never thought that I wasn't attractive. When I was in middle school and I was fat, you know, I was fat. Oh,
Quick side note.
I was grab you if you love Big Mom or screw you. You feel me? Like, but I didn't know that I was fat until I got slender. You see what I'm saying? But like when you actually love yourself, you don't actually think into those things. So when you have someone that is genuine and that does respect you or whatever the case is.
Real quick side note, Kayla be like dressing down like all the time, so y'all don't even be like peeping in this shit.
And that's a security thing, a factor too. You know what I'm saying? Like we've done a video together
She did a video from me a couple of years ago and shit, and she played like this crazy like voodoo like
She showed me that.
like priestess lady and shit, and she killed me in the end and shit. But she had, in the video she had like on some shit, and I was like, oh okay, I didn't know.
No, but we didn't do fashion shows together where like the designer wanted me to wear like a leotard and nothing else. Like there's, you know what I'm saying? But like
No, I don't give no fuck what you wear. I know it's everybody. And that's what I was gonna say when you said like I've always thought I was beautiful. You are beautiful.
Thank you. I think everybody here is beautiful as well too. But that's
Shorty, you beautiful.
That's something that you have to think in your mind state too. And like to me, like I feel like if I'm entertaining someone to a certain level where I don't want them to entertain someone else, I'm not going to entertain someone else. And that's just the thing. Like if it doesn't work out, okay, cool. there's always a factor where I can go back and say, hey, you know, I ain't pick you up last time, but I'm gonna pick you up today. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like, you feel me? But like, that's the
I
thing.
can
But
like,
like,
that back burner,
when you-
baby, but you was warm.
Hey, you see what I'm saying? Like, and to me, like, I feel like that's something that, like, also our young men in our society, like, I date this back to black people because like I said, I love our men, I love our women, like, I love us. You feel me? So, like, I feel like sometimes you have to have that security in yourself, whereas, you know, you good looking that if this thing don't work out with us, I can get somebody else that loves me just as much. And sometimes people don't actually understand that. People say they love themselves and they don't really believe that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they feel like everything that's good looking, you got to jump at. Sometimes everything that's good looking is a test. God will test you in different ways. And everybody believes in different things or whatever the case is. But your higher power, your spiritual, your intellectual, whatever you're doing, whatever you feel like is your higher power, if yourself, you will test yourself. You feel me? You will put yourself in a room full of beautiful people, and you have to know that something's at home waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to think of those things because, like I said, the dollar bill has the New World Order. White people may not love their spouse, give a fuck about their spouse, care about their spouse, or whatever the case is, but if you want to be successful in this world, you have to give a 24-hour donation to something. You know what I'm saying? And 200% is way better than 100%. So you could think that you're doing it all by yourself and you're doing this and you're doing that, but guess what? Brothers, you know what I'm saying? You ain't always washing your drawers. Mm-hmm. It's something that ain't as good looking as something in the club. And I done been to college before. I done lived in the dormitory before. I done lived on the girls' side of the dorms before. You feel me? Where females don't know how to wash clothes. You know what I'm saying? But you got somebody at home that does know how to wash clothes and make macaroni and dressing and greens and stuff like that. And the things you like. Rather than going to Popeyes and getting that chicken sandwich. By the way, I'm not with that shit.
I tell you,
I'm not with that shit. You out here buying that chicken sandwich, my nigga. It's over for you. If you bought a chicken sandwich, we can never be together. but for real though, like that discipline comes from more like it's about, like you said, like you either feeding your soul or you feeding your ego. And there is something that will have you prepared for your 8 hours a day.
Hey,
Hold on.
You feel me? And there is something that won't have you prepared for that 8 hours a day. That will give you all the love in the world for 16 hours a day.
The thing about it.
Okay, all right,
Go ahead, citizen.
No,
go ahead, citizen. I'm gonna let him run that.
She real aggressive.
No. So here's the thing. Hold on. So,
I fucks with almost everything. Like,
but like, here's my thing. Like, I wasn't speaking against poly. Like,
I don't think anybody.
I think that's right. Like,
I'm
If
like,
you're against poly,
no.
because I think.
What you love is who you love, how you want to love, how you want to distribute your love. Like, I also feel like as a black woman, like, this is a beehive. You feel me? Excuse my language, man, but like, you get more bees with honey. And we born with honey, and it's a beehive.
That shit
so
don't make
you
no
bees be
sense.
buzzing. all the things like you bees be bugging, and it's a queen bee. Like, you bees be bugging.
I was trying to find it.
Like, y'all be buzzing.
But
like,
I love you though. Hey, but look,
y'all sniff.
I want to real quick, like, cause like my thing is, I think that there's a lot. I'm trying to like not cough all over everybody.
That's alright. Take your time.
That's what I said about James.
That's what honey do to you. All this honey, you taking it in. Like, what's going on? Like, all this honey.
Like, cause I think like what's interesting to me is that like there's like this resurgence of like, you know, poly, and it's like, you know, everybody's like, yeah, this is the new thing.
It's not.
But
new.
like in Africa, what
It's
the fuck
not
you
new.
call that? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but they used to call us like,
what you call
no,
it.
what?
And
Look,
many
Black men
people-
always talking about how Africans
Wait, relax,
got more
relax.
than one wife.
Hold on,
But-
relax.
No, nothing about
Relax,
Africa.
relax.
Chill out, black man.
Who don't really?
no,
Come
but
on.
no, but
Listen,
I
what
feel
I'm
like
saying
the difference is in America. In Africa, it's the men who have multiple wives. I don't think it's the other way around.
No,
I think
but what I'm saying
But there
is,
were certain
what I'm saying
tribes.
is the idea, right? Of hey,
Yeah.
maybe multiple people can be in a relationship, and now like there's this whole movement where it's like, yeah, this is like, oh, we've wisened up, and like we get it now. But like you used to straight up like call people in Africa like animals for like thinking this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they
Right.
did like this. Is,
Not
you know
only
what
that,
I mean?
like
Degenerates, right? And it's like, wait a minute. Like, I think that there's a lot that we can take away from that idea, but we have to do it. You have to be 100. You can't be on that 50-50
But what was done
shit.
before that idea?
Huh?
What was done before that idea?
Or-
Do you believe that we mimic nature?
Or
In nature, it ain't no monogamous relationships. The male
you-
lion
do-
walk through fucking everything.
Okay.
And so does the bee. So does the queen bee of the beehive.
Relationships in
So does the
general.
queen bee of the
Relationships
beehive.
in general
You
is
know
a
how many people
man
she
thing.
So
So,
does the queen bee
Baby.
of the beehive.
Baby.
So what I'm saying
Okay, but
is
alright.
that before the male took more domination, who took domination before that? I'm the womb. Your children come through me. You come through me.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes you feel like at some point in time that I wasn't the being that had more husbands than you had wives?
okay.
You see what I'm
Either
saying?
or, it's the same.
In a beehive, the queen bee has manipulation over all the bees, and majority of the bees are male.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what makes you feel like, oh, in Africa they got more wives? Okay, so what?
I'm not
In the
talking-
beehive,
but
I got more
wasn't-
husbands.
But I
So
wasn't.
we at the same level. We at the same level of superiority. So what makes me bow down to you and you don't want to bow down to me?
Ain't nobody
You
been
feeding your
talking
ego.
about this.
You feeding your
Like,
ego.
I'm not even, like,
You're
on that
feeding
shit,
your
like,
ego.
why
And you
you
want me to
want
feed
me
the
to
soul.
I
feel-
And that's negative. That's
Put your
negative.
hands
Especially in a
together.
world with the
Bow
New
down.
World Order that's giving me more direction than it's giving you. You have to let go. If you're really intentionally saying that we are going back to those dates, you really have to go past your ego. You have to go to your soul. And in this world, it is better off for the woman to have certain things than the male. And you have to adhere to that. But you
Okay,
all
but
don't want,
no,
so you
okay.
feeling, you're
Be
feeling
more
your
specific.
ego and I'm feeling my soul.
Be more specific. Is that no? We're gonna go a little bit over. I know Label's
Hold
saying
on,
wrap it
I
up,
got
but we got a
something
little
to
bit.
say.
We got like can we do 10 minutes?
no,
You gotta say yes.
no.
You gotta say it.
Internet that.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Internet
All right.
that. Let them vibe on that. Let them vibe on that.
Let's finish.
Let them vibe
Let's
on
finish
that.
this. Let's finish this, and then we're gonna go to a hard stop. Okay. All right. Keela, X, right? No.
No.
Okay. Then me, and then like.
Yeah,
My point
top
was
it off with
earlier,
me, bruh.
so-
Top it off with me.
All I'm going to say is that the law of thermodynamics states that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is only transferred.
Wow.
You can only give your energy to other people. That's why it's
Wow,
called
wow,
the transference of energy. And I'm gonna just leave y'all with that because that is actually the law of energy, which we are all created from. And the only thing that your soul is energy. And when you leave this form, you will transfer into something else. But you'll still be energy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I don't even know like what that.
I was gonna
has to
say
do
there's a whole. I feel like
It was a lot in there with y'all.
take it.
People
We
gave
got
me a
done
certain amount of
talking
time,
about
so I was
it.
like,
Wow.
That
Don't-
shit was so
don't
off
think
the wall.
it's-
I don't forget my point. So,
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
get what she's. That would turn
ahead,
into a
sis.
whole nother conversation.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
what I said. Y'all
All right,
gave me a
bitch,
certain
so-
amount of time. I had to
So,
wrap it up.
we out of time and the bacon smelling mighty fine. So
Thank
know.
you. Go ahead.
But you know, in black group therapy spirit, like we fuss, we argue, we fight, but at the end of that hour, we love each other. So you know, hey, this is we back season 2, man, and I want to thank y'all again.
Amen.
Yes.